This War of Mine, developed by 11-bit studios, earns its name like no other title has done so far in 2014. It's a 2.5-dimensional survival game set in the middle of a city that is at war and is inhabited by numerous people. Victims of the war that are left there to die or survive, dealing with the inhuman condition and devastation brought by the war. Starting with 2 to 4 people. The key point in this game is to keep your folks alive by trading, by utilizing materials, building workshops, treating people with medicine to keep ourselves healthy until the ceasefire is announced. You build, cook, eat or rest during the day and scavenge, guard or sleep during the night. Whoever does what is being conducted at each nightfall. It's from this point on that you need to establish what is most important for your group. Is your group hungry, then food is the primary resource to find. But if you do not have workshops yet, you need to get materials to build tools, to get to new locations. Or if you need weapons to deal with difficult soldiers, that's also important. Especially if your folks are sick, it's important to get bandages and medicine as fast as possible. Also, if someone is not in a good mood, you can get them something like coffee or cigarettes or even alcohol. Every character has its strengths and weaknesses that influence how many backpacks they have, how many backpack slots they have, as well as how fast they run and if they are suited to deal with fights or sneak instead. At night you can choose the locations which you want to go, which will show the specific amount of resources available and if there is danger or not. This also includes areas within that location that initially cannot be accessed because they are barred with either bars or locked doors that can only be opened with saws, lockpicks or crowbars. Which means you need to find that out on the spot and return on a later night shift to open them with the correct tools. When the night is over and you have scavenged everything you needed, the cycle of day and night constantly repeats until the ceasefire is announced, which can last at most 45 days. It seems like a short deal, but what you can do during night in terms of choices, resource management and scavenging is enormous. Never have I found a survival game that offers as much diversity as this War of Mine. As you roam during the night, it's important to remember that there are 3 main scavenging systems for resources which involve killing NPCs, trading or scavenging for goods. Trading and collecting are generally the safest, whereas killing is the most rewarding as the military soldiers often have weapons which are worth a huge amount of materials. The only problem is that killing innocent people or the wrong NPCs or even stealing from them will decrease the morale of your characters, which makes them respond slower to your actions or not at all. A rule of thumb to choose between any of the 3 methods is to always consider if it's either worth the effort, the potential danger, and the trading value that you'll receive from your actions. At one point in the game, which is a great example, is when you encounter a soldier in a supermarket which finds a girl scavenging and he offers her a lot of meals in return for something or a favor that we all know what that means. either have the choice to leave it and decrease the morale of all your characters, or take action in your hands and kill the soldier, not just for saving the girl, but also to increase your morale and get a good AK, which is worth a huge amount of goods. However, if you fail to nail down someone and you die, it's over. That character dies, won't reappear, and all the goods you scavenge during that night will be lost. Every wrong move or decision within this war of mine is punishing and will make the initially hard situation even harder. And it's actually the meaning behind every action you do that keeps you in the game for hours to no end. Spending resources on the wrong items or unnecessary luxury, killing innocent people, getting sick because you didn't fuel the heater, not giving people food, not treating with medicine, all those actions, or going even to the wrong place where you can't scavenge enough of the desired needs, can all be very punishing and will flat out cost you the game in most situations. The goal of this war of mine is achieved with such a success. I'm shuddering thinking that some of the events in-game happen in real life. If you keep on playing multiple times, you'll instantly realize that the game is hard by default. We are also not given any tutorial as we enter the game, which someone might see as a negative something. However, I beg to differ. The intention was to transmit the feeling of dealing with war, which naturally is very difficult. In many war-torn countries, a lot of these people could not prepare for the war. It came instantly without them realizing what even happened, which is really hard. And we were given the same situation by 11-bit studios right from the start, which I find to be one of the best realizations of this year. On top of that, the graphics, the colors and the sound design are done with flying success. The soundtracks are so good that the repetitiveness during day and night doesn't bother me at all. It's actually welcome. The whole picture of all these artistic assets perfectly convey the poor situation and the devastation by the war. However, what is the absolute pinnacle of this game is the crafting system and the trading values. There is so much to craft, varying from furniture to workshops, which in turn create goods such as food, medicine, beds, protection, weapons, armor, items that you need during the scavenging for opening doors or bars and stuff like that. Most furniture and workshops also have the ability to be upgraded to provide even more advanced items which can be used to protect the hideout or create goods for trading. It's just stunning how balanced everything feels, ranging from the amount of materials required for furniture or workshops as well as trading one item for another. It's in fact the total picture and smoothness of this war of mine that surprises me greatly, giving me an enjoying experience to play a game that I rarely felt since Half-Life 2 and Far Cry 1. Of course, the game has a few quirks, like any other game. One I can name, one of the foremost, is that I once encountered a complete freeze of both the AI and myself in the middle of a battle, so I was forced to quit the game and redo my day. But okay, that is not the worst of worst. I mean, at least I didn't die. I could go on explaining in detail how you can, for instance, fight easily soldiers or what are the best locations to scavenge, as I finished the game a few times by now. But all of that is really meaningless, as most situations are RNG. For instance, the beginning combination of your characters and what items you receive for loot can vary up to more than 20 combinations. Also, whether you'll start during winter time or autumn time, it all depends what the game chooses for you. Also during the day, people can knock on your door to ask for help, lend some of your characters. There can also be a bartender, which is really useful for trading stuff that appears randomly. You never really know if they can come on either the worst or the best times. There is nothing in this war of mine that gets in the way of the true gaming experience, which is something I long for all day when I'm sitting behind the computer. Which is why this war of mine earns a 10 out of 10, a masterpiece. It also receives my Best Indie Game of the Year award. Some might argue that I exaggerate the positive elements of the game, but the huge amount of crafting possibilities, the control capability, the graphics, the sound design, the combat in the game, and the fact that I played it 32 hours straight since the first time I played it makes it so that I can't lie about the score that I think it deserves. 11-bit Studios earns all the attention and the overwhelmingly positive reviews they received as they created a gem of a game, which proves that with minimal budget everyone is capable of creating a game that is simply too beautiful for words. The game sure has a lot of room for improvement. They could easily add wars that last longer than 45 days, which is something I would love to see. They could add, for instance, why is there no character development? Why is there not really dialogue except for someone who is depressed? Those were some weird design decisions. I don't really understand why they're not in it. Although with everything that is currently included, it is so good that it doesn't really get in the way of understanding how great this game is. The score simply means that with their financial situation, they squeeze the absolute top out of their talents, which turns the rendition of this game to fabulous levels that I've not seen in most other indie games. For the ridiculous price it asked, I think everyone should own the game and support 11-bit Studios, as I want to see more of them. I would actually love to see some DLC released for this game with additional options, additional characters, additional locations. I'm really curious what they will come up with next. Although this war of mine is over, what your war is going to be is still a mystery. What I do know is that I will see you in the next review.